Good morning, beautiful yogis. I want to do a practice today that will be somewhat challenging perhaps, but also restorative. This is going to be a sequence on immunity boosting. So we will also be using some props. So I'm holding a block, and this is the kind that I like to use. It's a cork block, and it offers a good bit of support, but it has a little bit of give to it. So if you don't have one of these, it's okay. If you have another foam block or whatever, totally fine. Or you might, if you don't have anything like that, then you might want to find something that you can use to support when we're in standing poses. We'll also be using a bolster. So whatever you can get, like stacks of pillows or something for that, that would be helpful too. So what is a practice of immunity boosting? We're going to be really affecting the lymphatic system, opening in the shoulders and the groins today. So I like to stretch out sometimes using my piano. You can use anything like this that's stable. So I'm stretching the shoulders, and then a nice little openness in the back. And then otherwise, we're going to get started immediately. So I'm going to take the block and we're going to start seated. We're going to sit in Virasana. So I'll do that facing you. So we'll place it on its flat side and just place the sits bones prominently into that. Okay, in this pose, knees are straight out from the hips. So we don't want them trying to be together. We don't want them cattywampus this way. So straight out. Alignment is so important in yoga. That's what we're trying to do, is undo what we do in our normal daily lives to restore some alignment through this practice. Okay, so the shins are straight under the legs. The feet, if you can see my feet, you probably can see my ankles only, but we want the feet straight back. Sometimes we have over flexible ankles and they want to flare out, so bring them in. That takes consciousness in the muscles around the ankle. Press the toes into the mat. Okay, once you have these actions, let's be neutral in the spine, so not too forward, not sitting back. So bring it up. Straight spine, lifting in the chest. Roll the shoulders back and down. You can place the hands on the legs. So be here. This is a good time to go into your breath, your inner body. Notice how you're breathing. Inhalation, exhalation, make it smooth. Just keeping it real. I find that I often am a shallow breather. So taking time to really get the oxygen in and out is so important. It's good for the sequence that we're about to do. Okay, for the sake of time, I'm going to kind of move from pose to pose. I've done this before and it took an hour, and I'm trying to keep it within a half hour. So come off of the block, and then we're going to come into a standing pose. So come into Tadasana. We're standing straight, good posture. And then come down. Plant the hands for downward facing dog. So we have explored these actions before. Hands are shoulder width apart, fingers fully spread, extending in the arms, externally rotating the shoulders. And then the legs, the feet are right from the hands, in line with the hands.
And then pushing the legs back as much as you can without overstretching in the hamstrings. And then a straight spine. Breathe, find your breath in these poses. And now we'll come back into Virasana. And just so you know, I'm consulting a list of poses. I like to write them down as I work through them. All right, so come back into a seated position. I'll explain our next pose. It's called Gomukhasana. What we're going to do is basically stack the legs, stack the arms, and they're going to be in an indirect relationship to one another. So what I mean by that, we're going to start with the right leg down, and it's in a V from the body, and then gently bring the left leg over. So if the knees are not in line, that's okay. If you're super tight, they might be here, or you might even be here. Totally fine. Just be where you are. I want you to always listen to your body. Listen, challenge it, but obey it. It will tell you things while you practice. So with the left leg over the right, we're going to take the arms up into shoulder height, and then we're going to put the right arm over the left arm, and then twist and bind them. So in this twist, the hands are pushing against each other. That allows the shoulders to spread on the back and stretch. And breathe here. Keep the chest lifted, the spine straight. Breathe a couple of times. And then release. And then we'll take the legs into the other position. Okay, so again, be where you are. Knees are stacked, straight in the spine, right over the left on the legs. So that means we're going to take the left arm over the right arm. Twist and bind these, press the palms into the hands, and then feel that stretch in the shoulders. Breathe. And now we're going to release. And then release the legs. So come back into Swastikasana just for a moment. I like to give you a moment to recover from each pose as much as I can. So next, we're going to turn the body. We're going to place the legs in a bent position. Lean back on the hands. We're going to turn the palms to where they're going behind you, facing backward. So that helps us open the shoulders. So take the right leg and place the right ankle on the left knee. And you'll feel a stretch as you bring this leg up, and then walk the hands back. And then take the head back. You'll feel a nice openness in the shoulders. Nice stretch in the right buttocks, hips. And now let's walk the hands back. And then we can take this leg down. And then we'll take it to the other side. So take the left ankle over to the right knee. When you do this, whenever you're turning
the leg laterally and affecting the knee, keep that foot flexed. That is a level of protection for the knee that you want to have. So then let's bring this foot back, get that nice stretch in this buttock, piriformis, hip area. And then let's walk the hands back, lift the chest, take the head back, breathe. And now let's walk the hands back up and release that leg. So turn and come back into Swastikasana, crossed leg. Next we're going to do fire log pose. That is with the legs. So we're going to bring this foot, this shin out to where it's parallel to the edge of the mat. And then nicely, carefully take this other leg and let the shins be on top of each other. So, see, I can tell because my knee is not touching my ankle here that I have a little tightness going in this hip. Totally cool. Yours may be up here. Just be where you are. What you want to avoid is ever forcing this down. And again, keep these feet flexed. Protects the knees. And breathe. And then let's repeat that on the other side. I'm going to let you repeat that, and then I will get into our next pose because I don't want this video to run long. So now we're going to stand, and you want to take your block or whatever device you found to use. I'm going to place it about here on the back of the mat. We're going to do Untitled Chapter or triangle pose. So we're going to come into Tadasana. We're going to put the hands on the hips and then step out wide. Feet are parallel to each other. Strong in the legs. Be here. Find that neutral spine. Sometimes I overextend. That's natural for my body. Now let's take this leg to the side. So think about turning that from the hip joint. Inner thigh coming to the outer thigh. Those are just thoughts of consciousness you can have while you practice these poses. Strong in this leg. Torso facing you. Now add the arms. So we're going to go out to my right side here. And what the biggest thought to have is to reach and extend in these side ribs. Extend. So a bad triangle pose is just going down. That's not triangle pose. So extend, extend, extend till you can go no further. Come down, take your block, and then open here. Open the chest, and then take the arm up. And breathe. A fabulous hip opener, groin opener. And then to come up. Straight in the legs. Turn the leg. And then come back to center. And going to the other side. So we do both sides in yoga for that sense of equanimity. Equal work on equal sides. So stepping out. Again, feet parallel. We're going to turn the left leg, just as we talked about a moment ago. Also, the heel is in line with the arch of this foot.
for good alignment. And then keeping this opening here. And then adding the arms. And again, reaching, extending in the side ribs. And then bringing the block to you and coming up. With this arm on top raised, try to avoid overextending. Keep the hand right over the shoulder joint. And then to come up, strong in the legs. And then turn the leg. And then come back to center. All right. Good job, everybody. I know you're doing your very best. So continuing the use of the block, we're going to bring it, I'm going to put it on the front here. And then come back to the center of the mat, Tadasana. Stepping wide. This will seem a lot like Warrior 2 at first. It's kind of a combination of Warrior 2 and Untitled Chapter that we just did. So turning the right leg. Turning. Heel in line with the arch. Add the arms. And then come into Warrior 2. And then reach like triangle pose. And then come. And then reach the top arm over. Oh, finding openness in this hip, in this chest. And to come up, straighten the leg, turn the foot, and come back to center. So going to the other side. Stepping wide, turning this left leg. Add the arms. And come into Warrior 2. And then reach, reach, reach. Open that hip, open the chest, and reach. This top arm is in line with the rest of the body. And to come out, take the arm down, straighten the legs, straighten the foot, and come back to center. Okay. Whew. Those are some kind of intermediate poses, as you can tell. So we can study those further. At other times, I'll break those down because they're really worth it. Okay, so we're going to come into a seated pose. And if you've seen other videos, we're going to come into Dandasana. Dandasana is sitting with the legs straight out from the hips, fully pressed into the mat. The heels, the calves, the hamstrings, even the backs of the knees. And sometimes that's just a thought. So with the pelvis, think of it more in a neutral position, straight up in the spine. Lift the chest, look forward. So be here. Good posture. Dandasana is a pose that helps strengthen the back. Excuse me, it's allergy season. Just an FYI,
I have 2 bulging discs in my lumbar spine, and this pose is what I think so helped my back because it strengthens the upper spine, the thoracic, and helps strengthen it so that it takes the pressure and weight off of the lumbar spine. So this is what yoga can do for you. Okay, and now just relax for just a moment. Our next pose is Marici Asana. We're going to bring the right leg in. Let the heel come as close to the buttock as possible. Keep the leg coming toward the midline. And raise the arms. Reach forward. And then take the right arm and bind it around the bent leg. Take this arm and open this shoulder. Left leg is active and participating. If this is not possible for you today, then let's do something a little different. So instead of binding, let's just put the hand here and still try to get that openness. Let go in the abdominals because we want to twist in the spine. Okay, that's totally fine. Always be where you are. Okay, let's get back into Dandasana. And now we'll bring the left leg back. So the heel toward the buttock. Lift the arms and come forward. And take this arm back and bind. And look over the right shoulder. Right leg engaged fully. Breathe. Do whatever modification you need to. And now let's release. Okay. So our next pose is a reclined, supported Virasana. So if you've got a bolster, let's place it across the mat. We're going to sit in Virasana. If you want to use your block, you can. If not, if you don't have a block, then just do this pose just as carefully as you can. So back into Virasana. We're going to place the bolster right at the sacrum, the lowest part of the back. Now we're going to gently recline, get ourselves back. Take the arms back and then take hold of each elbow. So Virasana, which is the position of the legs, is calling the inner thighs to move inward. And there are not many poses that do that. So you feel that. You feel a nice stretch in the shins, the quads, and of course this front body, the chest, the abdominals, the shoulders. And now to come out, we'll bring the arms out, gently lift, and come up. And we'll come out of Virasana. You'll love the next pose. We'll move the bolster and we'll scoot back on the mat. So coming into child's pose, the feet are touching in child's pose. The toes are touching, the big toes. So we're going to sit back on the feet and then come down onto the legs and reach out first and press the buttocks back to the heels. Stretch the back, crown the forehead to the floor. And now let's take the arms back and let them relax. Feel the shoulder blades spread across the back. And now to come up, we're going to place the hands under the shoulders, press up, and then come out. So the next pose we will do is active bridge. So if you're watching this on a TV or screen, I want you to watch me do this first one. Because when you're in this pose, you don't need to turn your neck to look at anything. You need to keep your head straight ahead because that can cause injury. So I'm going to recline. I'm going to bring set the feet straight in line with the hips. Knees are straight up. They're not touching or splaying out. Let's place the hands down on the mat. So in this pose, if you naturally arch like I do a little, let's draw that lower back into the mat. All right, so from here, we're going to lift the hips. Take the shoulders under, and if you can clasp your hands together, fully extending in the arms, and then lifting the hips as high as you can, looking down your chest. This is the point where you do not turn your head. Do not turn your head. So lifting, lifting. You'll feel this in the legs and the buttocks. And we'll come down and relax. So I want you to repeat that one more time. And I'll move along for the sake of time. And the next pose, I'm going to turn this way. Recline back. Lift the legs. Grab the toes. Bring the legs out for this mighty stretch in the groin. And release. Bend the legs and bring the legs down. And we'll roll up. And next. So next we have Johnno Sheersh-Asana. We're going to extend the legs out. Kind of like we just were. Okay? Now we're going to bring this left leg bent and place the foot under the right thigh. The right leg is pressed into the mat. We're straight here. So find this. Think about keeping this left buttock down. And we're going to turn toward this extended leg. Raise the arms. And go forward. Keeping this down. Stretching all in here. And coming to where you are. If you can't reach your toes, it's perfectly fine to be here. And then to come up, raise the arms and turn to the side, bring them down. Okay, let's extend the leg again. And now let's bring the right leg in. And turn toward this leg. Raise the arms and reach, reach, reach. Remember, just be where you are. You may feel tighter on one side than the other. That's completely normal. Our everyday lives get us out of alignment. To come up, raise the arms and bring them down. Yoga seeks to realign your body. All right, so just a few more poses, and the other one is similar, and it is a revolved Johnno Sheersh-Asana. So let's take the right leg out, left foot under the thigh, and from here, we're going to take the left arm up and over and take hold here. Again, we're drawing this side body and buttock down to the mat and then opening the chest. This is the revolved or rotating aspect of this pose. And then to come up, reach back over and arms are down. And switch legs. Pressing this leg down, active in the foot. This foot's very active. Strengthening all the muscles and the arches. This buttock staying down. And then raising the right arm and coming over and twisting, revolving, rotating. Side body staying down to the mat. And then to come up, bring the arm up and bring the leg in. So our next pose would be great if you have a bolster or a stack of blankets. So it's Viparita Karani, which is another name for legs up the wall. So I'm going to take this bolster. We're going to place it about 5 inches or so from the wall, which is my door. And then, with as much grace as you can muster up, we're going to sit. Think of just sitting here first. Then we're going to move to this one buttock. Come down, get the butt straight onto the wall as you turn. And I just kind of did not do that gracefully. So let me just adjust here. All right, so butt is on the wall, trying to get the legs flat against the wall. If you're super tight in your hamstrings, that's not going to happen, so don't worry about that. But the legs are straight up from the hips. Again, yoga feet, flexed feet, and then recline. Feel that openness in the chest, in the shoulder pits. And just breathe. Smooth inhalation, smooth exhalation. So in legs up the wall, we are really affecting our lymphatic system. with the exchange of blood. The blood flow is different. This is so good for you. It should feel really nice. I hope it does. If by chance, sometimes I used to experience numbness in my feet after a couple of minutes. So if that happens to you, then it's certainly okay to bend the legs and sit against the wall in Swastikasana or Baddha Konasana, whatever's comfortable. And when you've enjoyed that long enough, then the next goal is to come out as gracefully as possible. Awesome. Okay, now for our Shavasana, we're not going to lie in a traditional corpse pose. Today we're going to be a little more in a restorative pose. It's going to be a reclined Baddha Konasana. So come to the mat. Place your bolster long ways parallel with the mat. Push your sacrum right against it, and let's come into Baddha Konasana. The soles of the feet are together and pressing the knees down, and roll the shoulders back. I like to stretch my neck in this pose. So if your Baddha Konasana is here, that's totally cool. All right, so from here, let's just gently take the body back and relax on the bolster. If this is too much for the groin, then it's totally fine to put blocks or some support under the legs here, blankets, pillows. And let's take the arms up and back. So be here and breathe. Take some good cleansing breaths that are just good, smooth inhalations, very deep, deep exhalation. All right, enjoy this for about 5 minutes. And then to come up, bring the legs up, wake up the hands and feet, and then gently come off the bolster. Roll to your right side. 2 breaths here to get the blood flowing just right. Then we'll gently push the body up. Let the head come up slowly. And that was our immune system boosting practice. I think it's very relevant right now. I hope you enjoyed the practice. Thank you for practicing with me. Namaste.